My husband keeps deflecting my feelings when I mention how I feel unloved because he chooses to walk ahead of me whenever we are out, and I have no idea how to tell him without him thinking I want to end our relationship over walking. My husband and I have been together for 20 or so years. He's a genuinely good man, great husband, loving parent, loyal friend. I feel fortunate that we are still in love after all this time. We have kind of a bestie vibe going. We really like to do things together, whether it's errands, shopping, cooking, or impromptu adventures. Sometimes our teen is with us, but sometimes not, as he has a growing social life. We had dinner out tonight, and when our enjoyable meal was over and we had paid the check, he got up from the table and walked out, leaving me and our leftovers at the table. I'm always slightly slower to get up. He does this a lot, and it really bothers me. Am I wrong to want him to stand at the table and wait 2 seconds so we can walk out together? Also, when we are out together or as a family, he will often walk ahead of me instead of next to me. For example, when we get out of the car in the church parking lot on Sunday mornings and walk to the church, I'm often left trailing behind. I have long legs and I'm not a slow walker. I'm not ugly or weird or embarrassing, and he's not some degenerate who doesn't know better. So what is this about? When I've brought it up casually in the past, he brushes it off or deflects, but I now feel like we need to have an actual conversation about it. Am I a jerk here? And how do I go about broaching this without having to deal with an overly defensive reaction? Commenter: So, I had a husband who lacked what I thought of as manners, too. If I brought it up, he declared those things were unimportant. It wasn't until I reframed it as these are things that make me feel loved and considered that I got through to him and he started making changes. So maybe reframe the discussion? Commenter 2. Not a jerk. Pro tip: hold hands more when walking. Even if you have to catch up, start holding hands. May surprise him at first, may be awkward, but you may get the results you want without saying anything. Plus it builds intimacy. Commenter 3. Not a jerk. Your spouse is demonstrating poor manners. Is he rushing off to perform neurosurgery? Is there a fire in the parking lot? He can cool his fudging jets, already, and act properly. Update. I really appreciated all the comments, ideas, and feedback. When I brought this topic up the next day, it did not feel particularly well received, and I was frustrated with myself for not being more articulate and with him for not being more open to conversation. I chalked it up as needing to be revisited in the near future. But we went away overnight with our son 2 days later, and I stopped counting examples of changed behavior at 7 or 8. From checking into the hotel to walking around town, dining out twice, walking to the beach and back multiple times, we walked together, he held doors, and even said to my son at one point, "Hang on, we're going to wait for Mom." And my dear teen, without any prompting at all, scooped up leftovers of something he and I shared at lunch before we left that restaurant. I did thank my husband repeatedly when he waited a beat for me. Some verbally, some with just a smile. If this lasts, I'll be thrilled, and he does not seem to mind one bit. Commenter: Yay, healthy relationship. Go communication. Commenter 2. Interesting that the conversation wasn't well received, but he changed his behavior. I've learned that having discussions or even arguments often fail if they're about getting the person to acknowledge the wrong. Sometimes egos or stubbornness prevent that from happening. And either way, that puts the emphasis on someone winning. Discussions or arguments should be aimed at changing future behavior.